What are the most common mistakes that suppliers should avoid, especially when they're trying to establish a relationship with these big retailers?
Thinking that price is the only driving force. No. Yes, it is one, but it is not the only factor.
How important is it to adapt to customer feedback and market trends, especially when selling to giant retailers?
Very important.
Hello and welcome to the Indian Community Podcast. I'm your host Amit Gupta along with my co-host Rahul Mehra. Today we have a special guest, Neha Jain, a dynamic and innovative leader in the field of strategic sourcing and product management. Neha is the Vice President of Global Sourcing and Product at Studio Ray, where she oversees a diverse range of product categories including outerwear, sportswear, swimwear, yoga apparel, activewear, and accessories. With significant experience in developing strategic business partnerships and driving profitability, Neha has successfully led cross functional teams and managed global suppliers across Asia, Central America, Africa, Europe, and the United States. In fact, pretty much the whole world. In this episode, Neha is going to share her valuable insights and expertise on how to successfully sell your products to big box retailers, club channels like Costco, Walmart, and Kmart. Welcome to the Indian Community Podcast, Neha.
Welcome, Neha.
Thank you so much, Amit. Thank you, Rahul. Thank you for having me here. Very excited to do this today for the community.
Excellent. Yeah, it's great to have you on the podcast. To start with,
Thank
can you
you.
share a little bit about your journey and how you got involved with these major club channels and big box retailers?
Yeah, absolutely. Started my career trajectory back in India, and during my childhood, I was always very passionate about fashion and clothing in general. So, my first internship I remember was with Banana Republic, and then I worked with Shahi Export House. I'm not sure if you know, but they're India's number one apparel exporter, and then transitioned to a giant sourcing company, Li and Fang, which is a Hong Kong based company. And while I was at Li and Fang and sourcing for these major retailers in the US, I became very curious to learn buying and merchandising side of the business. And that's when I decided that I want to pursue my education further. And I came to the US to study at the Fashion Institute of Technology in New York City. And after my graduation, I've been here since then. So I would say throughout my journey, over 17 years now, doing sourcing, supply chain, product management, I've worked with different retail channels throughout my journey. And that was kind of a deliberate decision on my end to learn more about different kind of business models, pricing strategy. But I would say high-end retailers like Bloomingdale's, Toka, Onia, private specialty retailers like H&M, Abercrombie and Fitch, Calvin Klein, off-price retailers like TJ Maxx, Burlington, Ross, and then club channels like Sam's Club, Costco Wholesale, BJ's Wholesale, which is more concentrated on East Coast, and then e-com retailers like Amazon, Sierra Trading Post, so on. So I was able to diversify, and expand my product portfolio. And recently, I graduated with my executive MBA from the Northwestern Kellogg School of Management, and currently, I'm here working as the VP of Global Sourcing and Product. We are B2B apparel importer. We design, develop, manufacture, and market performance apparel to club channels, department stores, and off-price retailers.
Excellent.
Thank you.
So, Neha, that was a great introduction. You told us about a lot of things.
Lot of retailers. I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I understand what you do. So, what are the key criteria that these giant mass volume retailers look for in potential suppliers, and how can companies ensure that they meet these standards?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question. I would say that first, it's very important to understand the nature of the retailer's business, and whosoever we are talking about here, like what's their businesses, what are their mechanisms, and let's say talking of large volumes in specific. If we pick Walmart, for example, who promotes a more like a wide extensive variety of low cost products to a wide range of customers, right? So they draw in consumers with a promise of EDLP. That's their slogan, like everyday low prices. So you know automatically, like it's given that pricing is everything for Walmart. Versus if you talk about club channels like Costco, Sam's, these are the retailers, again, huge volumes, but they sell a concentrated selection of bulk merchandise, using a membership system. So they both are buying big volumes, but they operate very differently in terms of their business. So their supplier selection criteria will vary. But I can tell you, like, top 4 or 5, most important criterias that both of them or any other retailer who is buying big volumes will look for. First, I would say definitely value proposition. Like, what is the value you are creating for them, for their customers? And first and foremost is competitive pricing, right? They're very focused on pricing. Second is product innovation. How are you differentiating from the rest of the competition that you have in terms of product features, unique features? Next, I would say definitely consistency and high quality product. Are you always delivering on time? Like, what's your track record, right? Like, that's another criteria they will look at. And then, very important criteria, the next one I would say is compliance, which would include safety regulations like structural safety, electrical safety, environmental regulations, fair labor law practices, right? So let's say if you are someone who is supplying perishable items to these stores, then you want to make sure that you have, I believe it's GFSI, like Global Food Safety Initiative certificate, I think, and another one I think is HACCP. Like, I'm in the world of apparel, so we have like Wrap Gold certificate, Oecotec, CEREC. So these are just different kinds of audits and certificates that the supplier must have even before they think about reaching to a retailer, and supply. So compliance is very, very important for them, and that's the first thing, actually, before everything else they will look at, that are you even compliant before we even begin talking about business. So yeah, I think as a supplier, you in a nutshell, like, you are someone who is financially strong, who can handle these big volumes, who can offer high quality innovative products at competitive prices, and you are fully compliant.
That was informative.
Mhm. Thank you.
Thank you, Neha. So I'm assuming after the supplier, now it's the actual turn of the product. So can you walk us through the process of getting a product approved by these big box retailers and club channels? And what are the essential steps and stages that are involved?
So, Amit, a quick question. When you say product approved, do you mean like before the production stage, right? Like when they're pitching a product to the
That is
retailer, right?
correct. Yes.
Right.
Right.
Okay,
So,
got it.
because let's say I manufacture a jacket, like one of those jackets right behind you, and I want to now come and sell to, to
Right.
these dealers.
Right. So, yeah, I think the most important step for like what I do, like what we do here, is definitely do a lot of market research first to understand who the customer is, like who is our consumer, what our competition is in that store. I want to quote this here because I strongly believe that if you understand your customer well, you can really prepare well and present your presentation or proposal to the retailers. Like when I was at Amazon, customer centricity is their founding principle and actually a key to their success. So when I was there, I learned that everything started from customer. So you think of the customer first, and then you work backwards, and then you do your whole product development phase of like ideation, prototype, evaluation, concept development, so on and so forth. So I would say that instead of working forward, that you have something and now you are trying to get into, try to work backwards, because that really helps. And I've seen that, like practically witnessed it in my experience. But in terms of stages and steps, right, it's pretty straightforward. Like once you have your market research done, you know what you're offering, you have all your pricing strategy in place, packaging in place, unique selling features in place, you pitch, you find the right contact in the department, in the right department, you pitch your presentation to them, you give your presentation where again, you're just talking about your product, what's the value you're offering them, how it's different from others that they already have in stores, again focusing a lot on quality, price, and uniqueness, like innovation. If you can back it up with market data, that's even better. We do that a lot of times where we say that, hey, we sold this to so and so customers and we had a great selling, and that really helps us leverage, in pitching our product even better. I would say once you have presented your product, the next step would be submitting your product with a proposal form. Every retailer actually has different requirements, but like talking specifically about clubs, in the proposal form, we usually give them a little bit more information in terms of tiered pricing. Like, if you want to order 50,000 to 100,000 pieces, this is the price. If you want to order 200,000 to 300,000 pieces, this is the price, so on and so forth, right? And then, of course, you want to talk about favorable lead times, because if they want to order 1,000,000 pieces of one product, and you say, I need a year to produce that, versus, you say, oh, 4 to 5 months, that makes a huge difference. So we always want to think about how to make their life easy, how to just make everything very easy and simple for them. I think that's the ground mantra for success, right? So if they can buy just in time, and catering to the market needs, and we say that, hey, we can turn around this in 4 months, like we have an edge, that competitive edge over others. And lastly, I would say is payment terms. If you can offer favorable payment terms, put that on your proposal. Everyone in retail industry, no matter what product, which retailer, they all work on credit these days, so especially after COVID. So depending upon net 30, 60, 90 days, whatever credit you can offer, but if you give them really favorable payment terms, that will help you a lot getting into. And then after that, once you submit that, then you just wait for them to get back to you and hope that they will buy, right?
And then generally, how long does it take for them to get back to you? Is there a particular period of time?
Usually, I would say it could be anywhere between 2 weeks to 4 weeks after you submit your proposal and the product. Yeah. And again, it really depends from department to department, retailer to retailer, but I would say on an average 2 to 4 weeks.
For example, let's say that a product is accepted, right? And we start supplying products, to the retailer. Now, quality and consistency are very crucial for retailers. How
Absolutely.
do you ensure that the products maintain high standards throughout the production and supply chain?
Yeah, a lot of things that comes to my mind. I would say first would be developing a very detailed SOP of your manufacturing process to make sure that you're very consistent in your quality, and continuously monitoring them through audits, inspections, identify areas of improvement, find defects. Actually, this is one of the practice I implement a lot in my apparel world, in my career, where I start doing audits and inspections much earlier, and starting from the raw material material stage. So let's say for a jacket, for example, like we have fabrics, we have zippers, we have buttons, we have so many labels, we have so many things, hand tags going on, that goes into making the jacket. So we once we start procuring the raw materials, we from the first lot, because when we are buying, when we are producing in huge volumes, we have so many lots of fabric, right? So we want to make sure it's consistent. Like if I have green color, the green color should be consistent in every lot that the fabric mill is making. So we start doing inspections from the first lot itself, and then wherever we see there is any defect or anything, it helps us tremendously in minimizing defects from the earlier stage, and that helps us reduce shortages, improve lead times as well in production. That's one way. Second thing I would say I do a lot, I practice a lot, is wear and tear testing in my world, because fitting is very important in a garment. So once the production starts from the production floor, we will just randomly pick few samples. So we are not telling the factory that you send us something, so they can make it beautiful. It's just random selection, and then we will just wear and tear test, because sometimes even the test report might pass, but as a customer, you wear it, you wash it, and you're like, hey, what happened to the appearance? Like, why the color faded, why it's peeling, things like that. So I would say a lot of testing, audits, inspections at an early stage. And then when I look for a factory, and when we are producing something, I usually look for someone who has a lot of automation in place. And even if you are a manufacturer yourself and you're not outsourcing manufacturing, I would say that try to have more automation in your facility, because that will significantly help you in keeping the quality consistent, right, and avoid human errors. Other than that, I would say, establishing vendor KPIs to monitor the quality continuously, improving it, establish a scorecard so, they understand your parameters better. And then, if you are a manufacturer, I would say just training your employees pretty well before, they go on the production floor. So all of these, a combination of these things will help you making sure that your production is in consistent quality. And definitely use of technology, PLM systems, ERP systems, just to have seamless coordination between all the departments in a facility, so that everything is seamless. Like there is no miss out, there is no mistakes in production, if I may say. So I would say, yeah, like a bunch of those things.
That's great. Yeah, I think essentially
Thank
what you're
you.
saying is चालीस the छत्तीस नहीं होनी चाहिए, right? So
Exactly, Amit.
do you remember that ad
जितना
that
ज्यादा जितना ज्यादा शुरू में कर सकते हैं, क्योंकि बाद में करेंगे, so it's too late in the process, right? अब सब बन गया, तो अब क्या करोगे? Like, और इतने huge volumes में you cannot even remake and redo,
right.
like it's expensive, it takes time, it takes money. So I think much earlier you start in the process, अच्छा है.
That's true, and
Yeah.
and it takes a lot of effort to get into these retailers, get your product to them,
Yeah.
get it approved, right? So, in pursuit of a small profit, we shouldn't be negotiating on quality, right? Because you need a long
100%.
term farmer, sort of thinking. Don't become a hunter
Exactly.
and think कि okay मैं एक बार में ही सब कुछ काट लूँ और मैं एक बार में थोड़ा सा ज़्यादा प्रॉफिट कर लूँ. I think
Exactly.
प्रॉफिट 2 रुपए कम भी कमाओगे, you'll still be doing well,
100%.
because the volumes are so high with these retailers. You
Exactly.
have to build that trust. You have to earn that trust, not just build that trust. You have to earn the trust both of that retailer and the customer of that retailer, because at the end of the day, even the retailer's reputation is at stake here.
100%. Exactly. And our brand's goodwill as well, because it's our label in
Correct.
the store. So,
Of course,
yeah, quality
you
is
are you're definitely at stake, but there's also a retailer
also
now in the
retailer.
middle.
It's loss
Correct.
of their sales. Exactly. And they will be upset. You don't want that. Never.
And
Yeah.
managing the whole returns and then disposing those returns, all of
Oh,
that is
yeah.
another major expense, right?
Yeah, exactly. You definitely want to minimize your return rate. And if your returns are huge, you never know. The retailer might, ask you to take the goods back. Like, they will take off the goods from the floor. So yeah, that would be bad, I would say.
That's definitely
Yeah. Yeah.
so.
Quality
Yeah,
is very important.
very true. So negotiating with these retailers can be very stressful. So what strategies have you found effective in securing favorable terms and conditions?
Yeah, it's it's always the most difficult part of the business when it comes to negotiation, especially with these kind of retailers, right? But I would say understanding them, their business model is very important because even actually department stores buy huge quantities, like like
Mhm.
Kohl's, and it's not just like big box retailers or club channels. So but every retailer has a very different business model. So department stores, they work on higher initial markups. Off-price retailers works on slightly different kind of initial markups. Club channels work on thinner markups, because their profits are not coming from the product markup itself, but actually the
Membership.
membership fees that we pay, right? Like that is contributing a lot towards the profit for the clubs. So I would say when negotiating, once you understand the retailer, push for price is definitely the first, but push forward your other differentiators. Like this is my well proven strategy. Like, so it's not just about the price, but it's about many other things, like proven track record performance. Like I'm known for producing high quality product with minimal return rate. Like I have a history, I can show it to you. Highlight the unique selling points of your product, right? Like sustainability, innovation, packaging. Like how am I different than other brands in the store or other retailers? Ideally, the goal is just like I said, make everything very easy for them. If you help these retailers reduce the work at their end, help them in saving the costs and increase their efficiency, whether it's by logistics, efficient logistics, packaging, offering favorable terms, so on and so forth, then you have a higher chance to win the negotiation, right? At the end, like you said, Amit, like you always want to be in the win-win situation. Both parties should be satisfied, should be happy. I would say flexibility is very important. In negotiating effectively, just be prepared. They can come back with anything, and just be ready to adjust your price, your product, your terms, your packaging, whatever they need to align with their needs. But just don't be restricted, I would say. And just be transparent to them. Like if you have a supply chain issue, if there is a disruption going on in the world, like right now there is a war going on in Red Sea, whatever it is, just be transparent, just be open in communication, leverage data to support your case. Just provide market insights. All of that will help you tremendously in putting your case forward. uh, I learned this in MBA, and I'm just going to use this term, which I think is very helpful. Know your partner. Partner means your best alternative to a negotiated agreement. So if you're ready with other best alternatives that you can offer to them, then that will be your biggest leverage, right? And I think at the end of the day, negotiation process is all about value creation. If you are creating that value for them, it will be much easier for you to negotiate. But yes, I would say value proposition, just push forward your differentiators, and the most important ones would be pricing, quality, product innovation, and terms and compliance.
So that's a new term. Yeah, I
Term,
learned
I
today.
know, partner. I don't
so,
wanna
so
I don't wanna make this like MBA thing, but it's really it's amazing. Like if you have your alternatives ready, and I started doing this after MBA, like in my negotiation, that it tremendously helps.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Neha, you mentioned packaging and presentation play, you know, an important role in selling to clubs. Are there any
Mhm.
specific requirements or best practices that suppliers should follow?
Yeah, actually, I can give some suggestions and insights. Like, I would say packaging plays a huge role when we talk about clubs, right? Like, because it's all about perceiving the value, both in terms of quantity and savings. Like, I'm sure, like when you go to a club, when you shop, you always look at, oh wow, I'm buying like so much bigger quantities at such low prices offered. So that's the value you as a customer you're perceiving. I would say there are two kinds of packaging: product packaging and then pallet packaging. So pallet packaging is more like how you are assembling your goods and shipping to the warehouse and so on and so forth. So product packaging promotes product recognition, like helping customers identify, learn about your product, differentiate from the other products that are on the shelf. So I would say product packaging should be interesting for a brand to decide. Just list all the features, very easily understandable by any customer, very clear fonts. Like, don't make it too confusing. I would say use visuals if you can, right? Just make it prettier. If you are doing supplying perishable goods, then ingredients list, allergen warnings, certifications, GMO, non-GMO, so on and so forth, right? I will give you this little example, like, and it's funny to even think of that in terms of packaging. In the world of apparel, how important packaging is, that could impact your sales in a big way. So once we did this program where we had a shorts and it had cargo pockets and draw cord and all of those details. And in clubs they have those they have table programs, like they have these tables on which your garment is folded, and they have like piles of that, and that's how you're selling. So um, the in one carton we usually pack like anywhere between 30 to 40 pieces. So we packed that, and then once the goods arrived here, the garment was half folded. We opened. Oh, that's another quality checkpoint, that once the goods arrive here, we do an inspection here first before we ship the product to the customer. So when we did that, we was like, oh my god, the whole garment, like everything is so badly wrinkled. Like, what happened? It looked terrible. Like, there is no way we could ship that or could have that product on the tables. Like, no one will buy that, right? It looks so bad. So we fixed it, like we ironed and we repacked, and then we shipped it. So we took care of that. But thinking of packaging, like figuring out, like all of these small things could actually become an issue later if we don't pay attention, and could impact your sales. So that all goes in product packaging, which I would say is very important. And then talking about logistics and pallet packagings, you're just helping them cut down on their labor cost. If goods are ready, the way it should be, the person just takes it out, puts it on the table, hang it, put it on the shelf. It's easy. So I would say that just understand retailers' specifications overall. If you understand how the product will be displayed, you can do a better job with packaging overall. And the trend right now, I'll say, is more towards using sustainable materials. Like, if you have paper packaging or anything, just try to use sustainable materials, because they're actually demanding for it, they're asking for it. So yeah.
So, Neha, what you're essentially saying is that the customer's experience of your product, the way they unbox it, the way they look at it, or the first glance, you would advise that to be optimized, and making sure that when customers touch it, feel it, look at it, that's when they feel that, yes, I want to buy this, and this is what I want. It's not like ये क्या रख दिए और ये क्या है,
like they say, Amit, the first impression is the last impression. जब आप देखते हो and कुछ अच्छा लगता है, you're like, oh wow, this looks so nice, and then you gauge the interest of the customer. फिर वो देखेंगे, oh, let me try this. Even if they don't know anything about your brand, but just because the presentation is so beautiful, they might try. So I mean, I think product packaging plays a very important role in selling overall.
Absolutely. I think a lot of times people assume that, अरे हम इतना सस्ते में बेच रहे हैं, so people will buy it. People will not buy it just because it's cheap. People will buy it when it is doing what they are expecting it to do. price is
100%.
irrelevant at that point in time, because now they've got this product in their hand, and do they want to put it on is that deciding factor.
Exactly, exactly. या क्लब्स के कस्टमर्स बहुत डिफिकल्ट है उनको सब चाहिए सस्ता भी चाहिए है अच्छा भी चाहिए है बेस्ट क्वालिटी भी चाहिए इनोवेशन भी चाहिए सो यू नो लाइक दे वांट एवरीथिंग so it's very difficult to satisfy their needs, I would say. So yeah, we have to just think of everything as a whole. It's a whole package.
Yeah, but on the other side, clubs के purchase or your customers, उनका average basket size भी बहुत अच्छा बड़ा होता
Oh
है, right?
yeah,
If you
exactly,
look at it in
100%.
that ways, they are demanding, but they're both quality and price sensitive, right? But
Exactly.
uh, they are very clear in what they want, and if they find it, then they'll stick with you for forever. I know
Forever.
there's a particular hoodie that I pretty much buy every 2 years. I think after 2 years, I like to
Really?
give it away. And there's one
Which
that
one
I
is
buy.
that? I'm curious
It
now.
is it is
What
from one of
brand?
your club channels. So
Okay.
I
Well, you have
I
to
buy.
try our brands, our product. Yeah.
Yeah, I get it from Costco every year, or every 2 years. There's a brand of jeans that I pick up from Costco, and initially I was also a little hesitant. Low या नहीं low, is this
Oh,
right or not? But one
right.
I picked one up for trial. I said, okay, let me try it. Let's see.
Yeah,
$20, not too bad. Um,
exactly.
but then I fell in love with those jeans, and I have 4 pairs of them. So you can
Wow.
imagine.
You have every
And
color.
every time, yes, every time I go to Costco,
Wow.
in fact, two of them are of the same color, so you will not even believe that, right? So because the
Yeah.
quality is right, the price
Yeah.
is right, it just makes sense. I'm like, okay, I just want to go.
100%.
Every time I go to
Yeah.
Costco, I'm in those tables, and I'm looking for those
Yeah.
jeans. In nai color mein aayi hai kya, So I'm like, let me go
Yeah.
and find it again.
Absolutely. See, this is
So
what we love to know, like what customers want, like new colors, We love that feedback. Yeah, totally.
So, Neha, managing all this inventory and logistics requires a great amount of precision. So, how do you handle supply chain management so that you're able to ensure timely delivery, stock availability, especially with all this happening around the world?
Yeah, actually, that's a great question, Amit. So I would say, building an effective and agile supply chain management, it just involves a combination of things, if I may say, right? Like demand forecasting is first, if you're a brand. Very efficient inventory management, very strong supplier relationships for sure, and then just like technology. So looking at your history of sales data or market trends, or if there is any seasonal variation going on in the market, you can predict like how much stock or raw materials that you need to keep in stock to fulfill the retailers requirements, right, for bulk. So a lot of these retailers like clubs or giant big box retailers, they usually take partial shipments, so they will replenish the stock partially. So if for example, if they ordered 1 million pieces of t-shirt from me, so I'm not shipping the entire 1 million at one time. So maybe I'm shipping 50,000 pieces today, in 2 weeks another 50,000 pieces, after 3 weeks 100,000 pieces, so on and so forth, right? So what happens by doing so, this actually helps their warehouse minimize the risk of what we say inventory obsolescence, and respond quickly to the market needs, and reduce the warehouse spacing requirements. So they're more like buying just in time. They're committing to more just in time buy. Another thing I would say is maintain safety stock. Like if you're in consumer product goods market, like toothpaste or like basic consumer product like that, you can if you have safety stock ready with you, if you have that, you can fulfill unexpected demand spikes. So I think a lot of strategic planning goes into like how you are managing your inventory, so you're never short on merchandise, and you're able to meet those unexpected or not unexpected demand all the time, but you're able to fulfill retailers requirements for bulk. um, and actually very important thing I'll say, because this happens a lot in clothing industry. If you are outsourcing your manufacturing for any product, try to diversify to mitigate the supply chain disruptions. So like I just said that there is a war going on in Red Sea. It's been 8-9 months, and I don't know when will it end. And because of that, the container prices are going up, the lead times are way longer. So what I do, usually what I have done previously and what I'm doing right now as a part of my strategy, is I just build in some buffer. So if, let's say, I know that we can produce this in 3 months, I would keep 4 months with me, because I just don't know what's going to happen next. So that buffer helps us mitigate these supply chain the risk of these supply chain disruptions. And then we are still on time, we are still committing to them that this is what we're going to offer you. So yeah, I would say diversifying, adding buffers significantly help. And then just use more technology, like more automation, to reduce human errors, because inventory is something you never know. You say, hey, I received 20,000 pieces, but now I have only 15,000. Like, where did these 5,000 pieces go? All of a sudden it's like kaha gayab ho gaya. So, and this happens all the time. So warehousing, if you have like automated systems like PLM systems, warehousing management systems in place, that will significantly help you in managing the efficiency of your just managing your inventories better, right? These days, a lot of retailers are actually using RFID technology for real-time tracking of inventory and shipments, and just like everyone has more transparency across the supply chain. And then yeah, I think those would be the things that I can think of when it comes to managing inventory and logistics for retailers. And then again, I don't want to become too technical, but if you can find, they say in Lean Six Sigma we learned eliminating 7 forms of muda, like that means waste, like understocking, overstocking, like defect rate. So if you can like find all of those much earlier in the process, identify them and eliminate those waste, that will also significantly help you with better inventory management.
Know your fundamentals very well, so that's great.
Yeah. No, I would say that, yeah, like I've been doing this for 17 years, so but still constantly learning, improving. There is still so much to learn, and with in supply chain, like we never know what's going to happen. Like I had no clue 8 months ago that there's going to be a war in Red Sea. Like who knew that, right? And that completely messed my schedule, my logistics schedule. Like there is no container availability, container prices are going up, lead times are longer. I had planned 30 days and now it's taking 45 days on water. So that I just learned a lot, and I was like, no, I can't work on 1-2 week buffers anymore. I need to keep at least a month. And then if you're early, if there is no issue, then just offer it to the customer, like say, hey, I know that I told you I can deliver in March, but I'm ready in February, you need it, and actually that would make them happier.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Neha, you mentioned that building a strong relationship with buyers is essential. What tips do you have for fostering and maintaining these crucial business relationships?
Yeah, sure. I would say, do a lot of research on their business so you understand them better. I think if you understand their needs, you identify the gaps, for the opportunities or what's something that they're missing on, and then you present solutions, to them from time to time. Just keep in touch with them, like keep them informed about what newness is out there, new developments, market trends. Even if you are in production, let's say you're producing something, and if you have any issues, just communicate, be transparent in your communication, because that will really help you build that trust and credibility. And just be highly responsive, and to their needs, to their questions, just do regular follow-ups, I would say. Like I mentioned earlier, be flexible to adjust your product, packaging, whatever they need. So ultimately, again, it's just making sure that they are happy, everything is super easy for them, they really find that value in what you're offering. It's everything comes back to value creation for these kind of retailers, right? Because if they see that value perceived in your product, that they feel that it will resonate with their customer, that then that you have a stronger chance to get into, you are going to maintain that relationship with them. But yes, a lot of work, a lot of planning, a lot of research goes in that, because it's not one time, it's ongoing. So you want to make sure you're always up to date with market trends, offering something new, competitively priced, innovative products, and just add more value through more flexible and innovative solutions overall, I would say.
All right, thank you.
No, my
Yeah, over
pleasure.
the last 17 years, you have sold so many or thousands and thousands of products at these retailers. Can you share a success story or a case study from your experience where a product performed exceptionally well? And what were the key factors behind its success?
Yeah, I'm thinking of which one. No, actually, I want to talk about one program which blew out. So I'll tell you, it was a men's short. It was a performance short, and we did that for Sam's Club. It was, I think,
Mhm.
700,000 pieces, and for spring, and it blew out like in sales. Like we got like within 2 months we got like a repeat order, right? So I will just give you a quick description of what the product was, so you have a better understanding, right? It was a performance short designed in a four-way stretch fabric for higher mobility. We marketed it as a hybrid short, so you can wear it if you're traveling, you can wear it at work, you can wear it if you're working out on streets, shopping, traveling, whatever. So you have multiple uses of that. The feel, the drape of the fabric was very rich, luxurious. We added like back pockets, side pockets. It was a water resistant fabric. So, whatever you put in your pockets, even if you're in water, your essentials are safe. We offered UPF 50 plus technology on the fabric, so it's going to protect you from harmful UV rays. So this was the product that we built, right, with all of these features, functional features, technical features. And we offered the product in very basic core colors: black, navy, I think it was khaki, and steel gray, just like those four basic core colors. um, Clean silhouettes, and our pricing was very competitive. So the retail price in club was 12.99 for this short. So you can imagine that, for 12.99, if you're getting all of these features in a great performing short, like that's a huge value to the customer, right? So but it was a success. But what goes behind this success is, almost we start like working a year in advance on developments, right? So it's a whole 1 year of hard work, our blood and sweat in it, right? Like planning, prototyping, making adjustments to the product, like doing multiple rounds of fittings just to make sure, and then sourcing the right materials, the right factories, getting to the price points we need to be, making sure that the quality, it's high quality product, the quality is consistent. And then of course the last part is packaging, that we want to make sure it looks beautiful on the table, it's very clear. So a lot of that planning and prototyping goes in that 1 year before we are actually ready to sell the product. So R&D in product, strategic sourcing, testing, inspection. I remember I flew to China for a few days just to do pre-production approvals for this program. So because my timeline was so tight, so we literally turned around this in 3 months lead time, close to 750,000 pieces. So I would say, yeah, like that would be a perfect example of a successful program.
course.
That's very cool to know. So when we buy a product at these stores, a lot of effort has happened months, sometimes even a year before getting that to us. So
Mhm.
that makes it very interesting, especially when you see some products trending, right? So there are
Yeah.
products that are trending. The whole trend was thought about or orchestrated months or years before it actually starts trending. So that's a very interesting observation. I
Yeah,
think.
a lot of R&D, lot of market research, like you say, what is the current trend? And when we are working in advance, like ek saal pehle, like it's
Mhm.
hard to predict as well, right? Like we have these trend reports, of course, but we are just assuming that yes, this is going to be big, it's going to sell, the customer will like it. So there is a risk there, but like mostly the trend reports we go with, they're very accurate. Like they're huge agencies like Doniger, WGS, and like in the fashion world that actually publish these trend reports like year 2 years in advance. So
Right.
That's cool.
Yeah.
yeah.
Neha, how important is it
Mhm.
to adapt to customer feedback and market trends especially when selling to giant retailers? And how do you incorporate these feedback into your product development?
Yeah, like very important, I would say, right? Like ultimately, the goal is always for the end customer to be happy with our product. And I would say one thing that, retailers, they actually, if something sells well, like for example this shorts, right, we repeated this program for 5 years in a row, and like Amit was saying, he always goes and buys the same hoodie every 2 years. So if something sells, because these retailers like club channels, I would say they're more conservative in their approach, right? Because they're not fashion savvy, they're not crazy about, oh, what Gucci is doing, what Louis Vuitton is doing, or what Zara is doing. They don't care about that. So you'll see like clean, simple product, because the value is perceived more on the price front, like price and quality, rather than the fashion elements, right, or trend elements. So if your customer is happy and they're buying the product through these retailers, they will constantly repeat the buy. They don't want to make any changes, they're conservative. So um, for you, it is very important to gather a lot of data through these retailers. So we usually in my career, I have seen that we always ask the retailers, because we are B2B, so we are relying on them for the sales, we are not D2C right now. So we ask them for the sales data, like, hey, after 4 weeks of shipping the product, can you let us know like what's selling the best, which style, what color, like what sizes are selling the most. And based on a lot of data that we receive, and then we also go online and read reviews online, because everyone is selling our product on their website as well. So we read a lot of those, and we gather this data through retailers, and that's when we start analyzing that what changes do we need to make. Like I can give you an example, the same short, like but even though it's performing, we still need to do better, like we still need some newness there. So what we did, we offered this same product in sustainable materials for the next season with RFID technology in it. So it's the same short, but you have now two more additional features which increases the value. And that inspiration came from, because the whole trend we saw, what's going on in the market, what competition is doing, and everybody is gearing more towards using recycled materials, sustainable materials. So definitely I would say what customer is saying, what they're looking for, that feedback helps us in improving our product and becoming better. So I would say very important. Like all of our decisions on what to develop next actually comes from that data.
Right.
I'm curious. You said RFID technology in shorts. What is the use case there?
It's mostly to track your inventory and your supply chain. You have more transparency in
Oh,
that.
okay. I
Yeah.
thought I thought when I'm wearing the shorts, you're able to track where I am.
No. I wish. So sorry. I mean, I should have been more clear. So RFID not in the garment, but on
Ah,
the, like let's say your UPC code, that the
Email.
scan, the barcode
Got
scanner,
it.
that
Got it.
that will have RFID. Exactly. So, but it also helps retailers a lot, especially in inventory management and tracking traceability in supply chain. But I wish, Amit, like that's a great idea. Our next development should be thinking about how to implement RFID technology in the government so we can find people.
Rahul, let's run to the
Totally.
patent office and get this patented.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I'm gonna work on that.
It's
Million
also a
dollar
privacy
idea.
nightmare. Imagine, it's a privacy nightmare in that way.
Yeah, it is. Totally.
So that's cool.
Absolutely.
So, Neha, what are the most common mistakes that suppliers should avoid, especially when they're trying to establish a relationship with these big retailers?
Yeah, I would say first is the thinking that price is the only driving force. Like, no. Yes, it is one, but it is not the only factor that's important to get into these retailers, giant retailers, right? And the second, many times I have seen, and even in my own career, I'm not talking about others, like, we have made mistakes, a lot of mistakes, and learned. If we lack in doing our market research and understanding like what they need, we are restricting our abilities to come up with innovative product offerings, which is a very important criteria to be able to get into these retail stores. Quality, I know that you're producing large volumes and it's very difficult to monitor consistent quality, but again, you have to come up with a strategic plan, implement protocols to make sure that you don't have you just always want to minimize your return rate. If you're selling well, your returns are low, that means you have done a great job on quality, right? I would say sometimes, like especially in my career, I've seen that suppliers, they over promise and under deliver, and I would say like never do that, right? Always under promise and over deliver. That's okay, that's great, but just don't do the opposite. Again, like what we talked about, don't do poor packaging or poor design, and don't be restricted, like be more flexible, don't lack that flexibility in adjusting your prices or product offerings. Oh, and one very important point that came to my mind is, a lot of suppliers, they don't think of offering promotional support to, especially I'm talking about clubs right now. um,
Mhm.
what happens with clubs is, see, like in because it's a membership system based business, right? So they print these catalogs and they run these promotional offers, like, hey, you have a coupon, $1 off coupon, $1.50 off coupon, right? So that boosts the product visibility and sales in the store if you have that. So what a lot of suppliers, they've just focused on, hey, this is a great product, this is a great price, I'm beating the competition, and I have this amazing packaging. But no, think about also supporting promotional support. You should tell them like, hey, this is what I have, and on top of all of this, I'm also giving you $1 off in coupon, which is built into your costing, right? So they love that, and a lot of people don't do that. So I would say don't make that mistake. Please just keep in mind that you offer some kind of promotional support, 50 cents, $1, whatever it is, whatever you can. But that will tremendously help. Or just as a term, again, talking of payment terms, you can always add that, hey, I'm ready to support you with markdown money. Like if you're not able to sell my product in your store for 2 months in a row, and it's really performing bad, and you have to mark it down to be able to sell and clean up the inventory, I will help you with markdown money. I'll give you 30%, 40% of it, or whatever it is, right? So I think like those are some of the things that suppliers often tend to not think about, and which I feel is really important.
That is excellent, Neha. That Thank you so
Thank
much for
you.
all these insights. I feel
Absolutely.
everybody who's listening to this and wants to sell to these big box retailers is going to find this very insightful,
Thank
eye-opening,
you.
and also there's incredible experience over here that you're sharing. So thank you again on behalf of the
Thank
Indian
you.
community, especially
Absolutely. My
for
pleasure.
these smaller businesses that dream or aspire to be big businesses. Neha, one last question is, um, how can these these manufacturers reach out to you? Are you open to new suppliers, new manufacturers? Is this something that you're constantly looking for, or you work with a specific set of suppliers?
No, in my world of sourcing, I'm always meeting new people every day, like new suppliers from all over the world, right? So I would say that if someone wants to reach out to me, just do a little bit of research on our products, our brands. I can tell you the name of the brands: Zero Exposure, Jerry Outdoors, Soebu. Those are the three big brands, and then Colorado Trading Company and Tranquility are smaller ones right now. But once you understand our business, like what Zero Exposure is about, what Soebu is about, and you think that you have something to offer that is a good fit for that, then for sure, I'm always open to meet new people. My three biggest requirements, criteria for meeting suppliers is, definitely compliance that I talked about. That's number one. Then secondly, I would say, competitive pricing and innovative product, like what's the value you are giving to me. And then third would be terms, and then if you're a smaller business, I would love to see that, do you have a scalable supply chain ready with you? Have you built that robust supply chain so you can scale, no one can beat your quality and price. And I definitely want to see if you're financially strong and if you're able to support these big volumes and you can offer favorable terms at the same time. So yeah, absolutely.
Excellent. So if you're watching this, we're going to post links to Neha's profile on LinkedIn, and if you qualify as Neha mentioned, please reach out to her and work together. So Neha, thank you again once on
Thank
again
you.
on
My
behalf of
pleasure.
the community. Thank you for appearing on this podcast. We'll keep coming back to you again. We would like to hear more about what's happening in the industry, what are the latest trends, and what are the new suppliers that you're working with. Thank you.
Thank you, Neha.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Thank you, Rahul. Thank you, Amit. Have a great evening.
You too. Bye bye.
You too. Bye bye.
Yeah, bye.